Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video of me doing my twin sister's nails. This was over a month ago now, but I finally had time to edit through the footage. You can see she did actually have some issues with that index finger lifting, and so she had it taped for me, just to make sure that nothing broke too badly underneath. And we're starting, as we always do, with our zippy e-file, our speedy bit, both from Light Elegance, and then the amazing Shemax dust extractor. I am the Light Elegance and Shemax distributor for New Zealand, and also can ship the Shemax over to Aussie as well. So kind of an ad, kind of not an ad. My salon buys all of my products outright as if it was a customer of my distribution business, so I don't give myself anything for free or at a discount, but just a disclaimer anyway, I guess. So we're going through and debulking her nails and removing any lifting that we find. As I've said on previous videos, but if this is your first time, you might not know, my sister's nails grow really curved down around her fingertips, so there's a lot of rebalancing to do. Even though our prep is really thorough, we do start to see some lifting on the sidewalls, because they're also really curved widthways as well, really strong natural C-curve. So when you're using flexible-ish product, or the nail itself is flexible, you are going to start to see some lifting with these ultra curved nails, despite how good of a nail tech you are and despite your prep and everything else. It's normal. I think if you weren't to see any lifting, the client would have actually a really uncomfortable time wearing the nails as they grow out, because the product would really be pulling against the nail in the nail bed as it grew out. So when I'm removing lifting or removing product around a crack, I am so super careful not to get the bit caught on any of the edges. So I do a lot more widthwise kind of motions rather than down the nail, and I'm really slowly and carefully taking back the product. So she has a widthwise crack that has lifting all the way along, so we really need to remove as much of that product as possible. But luckily you can see there's no super damage underneath. That lifting kind of just came away once it was thin enough. So that's the benefit of removing really thin when you're working with lifting, is eventually it just wants to flake off the nail, and there is really no risk of touching the natural nail with the carbide bit as long as you are taking your time. Another thing I do in this step that's specific to this type of nail versus anyone else is I am shortening with the e-file, but not as much as the total length that she actually wants off. Because her nails grow down and around, it's really likely that I'm going to file up from underneath at some point and shorten them a little bit more through that kind of rebalancing process. So it's nice and fast to shorten with the e-file in this step, but leave yourself some wiggle room, and especially on the nails that grow more curved, leave even more wiggle room. I've actually done another set after this one. I recently saw her again, and we did film that one too, so hopefully I'll get some time in my busy schedule to kind of catch up a little bit on videos where I tried a new technique in terms of rebalancing and correcting the shape of the way that her nail grows. It's a lot more of kind of the Russian aesthetic of nail, and they turn out beautiful, so I will be very excited to share those with you. I'm not going to lie, I did procrastinate editing this video for two main reasons. One, when I was filming, I didn't realize that my phone was almost full, so it cuts off right at the end. So we do only miss top coat, but number two is probably the bigger reason as well, is that she was adamant for this design. I like most of it, but I am really bad at painting florals. It's not my forte at all. It never seems to kind of go right. and she really liked them, but I wasn't that jazzed about them. So yeah, I kind of have been procrastinating editing this video for you guys, but then I thought actually it's probably good to talk about, you know, not all nail art requests are going to be your particular style or your particular skill set, and sometimes we do have to do stuff that we either aren't confident in or we don't have a lot of skills in or whatever. But as long as you keep that constant communication open and with your client and have that expectation of, you know, hey, this is not my forte, I can give it a go anyway. Or maybe here's another option that kind of fits the same brief, but it's a lot more in your wheelhouse. You know, those are both very valid approaches. Yeah, so here I am being a little bit vulnerable with this set of nails. But luckily for me, because of where it cuts off, there's not a lot of art to see. So my shame is not, or my self-consciousness is not on show for very long. So I'm quite happy about that. But yes. So normally my videos are sped up, I'm pretty sure 4 times, which is so fast. This one I decided to do 3 times, which is still very fast. But I thought it might be nice to do a slightly longer format video, still include basically the entire thing. So the only times I've ever really cut anything is if it's completely out of shot or the hands are completely out of shot for an extended amount of time. And I think that's basically it. So this entire service, I think, took me like 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think that was like the raw footage. Yeah, so I don't know whether my sister's nails takes me longer because they're trickier to work on, which is very likely, or we get to talking, or because I know I'm filming, I kind of am overly pedantic about a few things. Like I wouldn't say that the sets that I do for her come out better or worse than anyone else that I do, but you know, maybe I'm a little bit more conscious of the fact that I will be putting this out on the internet. So yeah, they do take me slightly longer. Normally a set like this I would kind of plan for 1.5 hours, and then I always give myself 15 minutes of buffer time. So 1 hour 45 would be like the max that I'd want to hit for a set like this. But yeah, I know that my sister's nails in general take me a bit longer, so in general I book extra time, and then also when I'm filming I kind of would book extra time as well. So we are now onto the cuticle prep, again using my zippy e-file. Amazing e-file, so nice. There's something about a high-end e-file that unless you have tried one, you just don't know what you're missing. But no vibrations, barely any noise, so smooth, so effective, like it's a dream to use. So definitely look into that if you are a professional nail tech and you want to upgrade your e-file. This is the way to go. But I start with a cutie patootie bit, which is a tapered barrel diamond bit going around in the reverse direction. This helps me kind of push back the cuticle a little bit more, lift up that eponychium and kind of get any really tough skin off of the sides of the nail and the lateral folds, you know, in the corners where that skin kind of really builds up. So that's doing a bulk of the work, and then I come in with itty bitty, which is a detailer bit. Right now we're in forward, and I go around usually focusing on the left hand side of the nail, but sometimes I focus all the way around if there is a lot of tissue buildup. And I guess with this bit I can get into the deeper side walls a little bit easier, whereas with the cutie patootie with my sister's nails I can't quite get in there the same kind of way. So usually focus from that midpoint at the back of the nail on the left hand side, and then I switch directions and go back around and do the right hand side. And because I'm right-handed, I do kind of tilt the actual bit a lot more around the perimeter of the nail because it's way more comfortable for me to do that on the side. So you'll see I actually start with it in parallel to the eponychium when I start on a lot of the nails, and then bring it around to really help lift that skin away from the nail plate, as well as exfoliate any cuticle off the nail plate. And then I finish with Buffy, which is a droplet bit made for exfoliating dead tissue off of skin. So I use this actually at quite a low speed. I've seen people use these kinds of bits at a high speed, but for me, I'm most comfortable using this at a much lower speed. And I think that might be because it is a medium bit. It's got a blue band on it. It's not fine, and I think the finer you go, the higher speed you can get away with, but I very much want to make sure that the entire process for my clients is super comfortable, and this is what I'm comfortable doing. If you guys are more comfortable doing especially this kind of step a different way, all the power to you, but this is just what I do. And it's really satisfying when you get those kind of corners or those pieces that just kind of blend away into nice, smooth, healthy skin again. So on top of salon work, I have been really busy the last couple of weeks. I can't remember how many pricing workshops I had done. Maybe I had done 2. I've done a 3rd definitely since then, I think, which was really cool. I flew down to Christchurch and did a fully packed group of 6 nail techs down in Christchurch. Met some wonderful people, and yeah, had a great time. And then I also have done exhibited at an expo. So New Zealand, we only really have 2 main expos for nails, and one in particular is all hair and beauty, which is every year, and then we have a specific one for only nail professionals, and that's every 2nd year. So that's the one that we had, and it was super fun. I've never exhibited at that one before, because I've only been the distributor for 2 years, not 2 years, oh my goodness, 1 year. This is my 2nd year, and so it was really cool to kind of be able to compare that to the New Zealand Hair and Beauty Expo. Completely different vibe. The nail one is a much smaller, much more tight-knit community, but it's about the people, it's about the nail techs. It's not really this like glitzy, elaborate, high-end kind of swanky thing. The focus is on supporting nail techs and supporting distributors and actually supporting our industry, which was really cool to be a part of, and kind of do some networking as well. That was really lovely. But oh my goodness, it was exhausting because it was only a 1-day expo, and it wasn't in the town that I am based in. I had to pack everything up, drive it down, and set it up on the first day, which was a Friday. The second day we had to obviously do the expo, and then at the end of the day we had to pack down the booth and take it all back to Auckland. So it was really busy. I did actually try to film content for a vlog for it, so hopefully I'll be able to put that together into some kind of sensible way for you guys to see the process. Yeah. Still don't really have a huge hang of this vlog thing, but I think it's fun to kind of show obviously the nails, watching the service, but also, other aspects of my business, whether it's the salon business or distribution. Always fun to see. We're all finished natural nail prep now, and we are going in with Air Bond, which is one of my favorite secret weapon prep products. With Light Elegance, it binds to the extra moisture that's left existing in the nail plate and neutralizes it. So New Zealand's quite a humid climate, and I really find that in conjunction with tack that we're now going in with is like secret weapon. Dream team. Barely have any lifting with these two products together. That is caused by like the prep or whatever. I do think that's something that I pride myself in, is seeing lifting or seeing damage and understanding what has caused it. So yeah, pretty confident in my prep and yeah, choice of products. Normally it's clients being naughty that causes lifting, or particular nail types that are a little bit trickier to work with. So after I go in with my Dream Team Prep Duo, when I'm doing a hard gel manicure with Lexy line, I really love using Builder as a base gel. So I apply it in a thin layer like you would apply any base kind of product. I do try to make it nice and smooth. It is a higher viscosity gel, so it doesn't really self-settle, but it does ever so slightly if you kind of know how to work with it, and particularly in any areas that there are some extra kind of, I've taken more product away so it's not super smooth. I will use Builder to smooth it out in this step. And then also, if I know my client is more sensitive to heat, I will apply just a little bit more in this step as well, just because it will help protect and insulate from the structured layer we do after this step. And by just adding a little bit more here, it's not going to risk too much of a heat spike just now because the product's still pretty thin. And it's not moving anywhere either, so they can take their hand out of the lamp as many times as they might need, if they might need it. Yeah, so just kind of really work that into the nail. I definitely have been really loving working with Claire lately, not only for the base but also for the structure of the nail. I actually can't remember on her hands which one I've used, so we're going to find out together because I have a new favorite. So let's see if I am using the new favorite or not. Yes, so still Old Faithful, which is Ideal Pink Jimmy, not Ideal Pink Jimmy Gel, Ideal Pink One Step, which is really lovely natural nail color. And One Step is really low viscosity, so it's really nice to build structure, self-level super quickly, as you can see, and really nicely, so really nice to work with. I have a saying in salon where always the first and last nail gives me a bit of grief, so I tended to do with these a little bit more than I really should, and then as I kind of get my groove, I work much quicker. When I am applying my structure layer, I do really work on getting it as smooth and kind of perfect as possible, but only to a point, because I now finish file every single set of structured gel that I do, mainly because there is a lot of time wasted taking a nail from like 90% perfect to 100% perfect. So I do try to get only to that kind of like 85-90%, and then know that I'm gonna taper everything, make everything nice and sleek and smooth, where it maybe isn't perfect with the finish file step. So it's definitely something I've been working on. I definitely think in the past I have been, as many nail techs are, too hyper focused on being fast and speeding up. But now that I'm the point that I'm at in my career, I guess, in the industry, with my experience, like I don't really see that my speed is really going to change that much from here on out. And I really like doing perfect nails. I don't really like doing fast nails. And it's not to say fast nails are bad. Like, absolutely, if you love doing a set in an hour, amazing. Like, that's so cool, because it means that your profitability is going to be really good. But for me, I just, this is what I love the most. I love doing perfect nails, and I want my clients to love that too. So that's kind of the idea, is I don't attract people that want a super fast service, because it's impossible. I will not be doing that for them. Yeah, so there's that. The one thing I would say to remember with one step, if you're using it to build your structure, is do not forget that it gets hot. Hard gels in general get hot in the lamp, but some viscosities, some formulas from Light Elegance get hotter than others. And one step is definitely one of the worst. So just watch out for that. Me and my sister are both like two of the most sensitive people for heat spikes. So I'm actually really grateful that I'm sensitive, even though it's a pain when I'm doing my own nails. But it means I can really understand and sympathize with my clients that are also sensitive, and work on finding good ways to mitigate any discomfort, because beauty is not pain for nails. They don't have to hurt. You're not supposed to be uncomfortable at any point. The service can be really nice and gentle and really enjoyable. So that's, at least my philosophy when you're in my chair. But yeah, one step that gets hot. So there are a few ways that you can actually help remove some of the risk of the heat, or like remove the heat potential. One is working in thinner layers. So by using a thicker base, then I need less structure. So that's one thing that I generally try to do. Another is to flash cure, so the client can put their hand in the lamp for as little as 1 or 2 seconds, and then we can take the hand completely out. If it's only been in for a few seconds, it is going to need to go upside down, and that is to make sure that until the surface of the product is actually set, that all of that hard work that you put in to sculpt the nice structure doesn't kind of go to waste, because having it out of the lamp, it's running still because it's not set. That is what I would do if they're very, very sensitive, is just 2 to 3 seconds in the lamp and then out and upside down, and then we count to 6. So we always double the time out of the lamp versus in, and then as long as it's not heating up or it's cooled down from heating up, then it can go back in. If it's still feeling warm, we wait till it's feeling cooler, and then we pop it back in. Any duration that's less than 15 seconds in the lamp, so that's cumulative. So if you did 3 seconds and out, 3 seconds and then out, you would have to keep doing that 5 times before you hit that 15-second mark. The 15 seconds is when the exothermic reaction is kind of hit its peak potential, and so from there on out, you're pretty safe to pop the hand in the lamp and let it cure for the full 60 seconds. Another way to mitigate is to use the low cure or the low heat setting on the Light Elegance dot lamp. I actually don't use this because I've found in the past it doesn't quite set the surface fast enough, but this would definitely be an option if you were using a higher viscosity gel, or on the base layers where the product isn't so thick, and if the client was still quite sensitive. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And another way is to activate the lamp but have the nails at the edge of the lamp. And I would still flash cure to set the shape So I would do 2 sets of 3 seconds with it being out for at least 6 seconds upside down, and then once I've done that, then we can go into the lamp and then take our hand back to the very edge, so it's still in the UV but it's not actually going to get that full force of energy to really like drive the reaction. It's going to happen a bit slower, which means it's going to get less hot, which we all like. Anywho, so we are now finished filing with my sanding band, which I am really loving for short to medium nails. I will do the entire nail with the sanding band. For medium to longer nails, I will finish file first with a Lexy line file, and then I will actually still come back through with the sanding band and just do the very perimeter of the nail to get any of those sneaky little bits like that are right down in the side walls that are going to prevent from smooth color application, and just really make sure that cuticle area is super tapered into the natural nail so that it's indistinguishable where the product actually begins. And yeah, so having that really clean area means we're going to get really nice flush clean color application, which as the nail goes out, there's not going to be any annoying areas that kind of catch or can be picked at, because when we do have those areas, they can also lift pretty easily because they've got an edge to them, and the unconscious brain or subconscious brain loves to do with these sorts of things. So definitely worth taking that extra step just to go around the edge even after I finish filed with a normal file. And then it also removes the stress of getting too close to the skin or slipping and grazing the client with the file. In New Zealand, we don't actually have to use files just once and throw them away. They don't have to be disposable. If they are rated as being sanitizable, we can technically, as per the licensing requirements, sanitize and disinfect files and reuse them. However, I don't do that anymore. I definitely did when I started. That is kind of general industry standard here in New Zealand. I know it's very different in other parts of the world. You need to do what you feel best is for your clients and for your salon, and what your education has provided of you. But yeah, I'm definitely in the camp of disposable nail files now. So my clients get to take home their file should they wish, or it goes in the bin after every single client. But it also means that the files are super sharp when I am using them, which actually is really useful, and I do think it makes my life so much easier. But it does also mean that it's slightly more risky that I might graze a client if I'm not being careful with what I'm doing. So by not having to kind of tuck the file so deep into the sidewalls and next to the epinicium and that sort of thing, I'm really removing a lot of that risk, which is very nice because we don't like risk. As I've been recording this little voiceover, I'm not gonna lie, I'm in bed. And I have just listened back to a little bit of it, and I think I've been playing with my earpods because you can hear rustling, which I'm very sorry about. I hope it's not too annoying for you. But now we're up to color application, which is really fun. I always finish file and then apply a base coat. So in this instance, we're going in with hard gel color. So I'm going to apply the Light Elegance hard gel base coat, which is Power Bond, and cure that first. It just helps the color go on so nice and smoothly. And this color that my sister chose is called Twilight Date Night. I'm pretty sure, I don't want to put my hand on my heart to say it definitely was, but it's just been a long time. And I'm almost certain that that's the color, which I didn't realize, but it had been discontinued from Light Elegance. It came out in the Drive-In collection, which was summer a while ago, a couple years ago. I think it was summer. And they've just recently brought it back. So if you missed out on that colour, my goodness, it's so beautiful. Definitely add that to your cart the next time you're shopping from Light Elegance or from me. I think I've still got 1 or 2 in stock. So yeah, definitely a really fun colour. It is all like equally bright as it has some interesting kind of muted notes. So it's not a super clean teal green. But yeah, really nice. So my sister has chosen this design that has kind of a negative space cuticle area with a straight line, which I love. Like, I love that design with that little like crisp straight line across and that negative space. Amazing. What I do not like about the design is my inability to paint flowers that look anything other than very ugly. I have in the past painted flowers that I'm really proud of. Can I replicate them ever? No. Never ever can I replicate them. So we just, you know, there are just a few things that I just can't really do. Ironically, hearts is another thing I really struggle with. I just don't, my brain doesn't understand. I can't get them symmetrical. It's just not a good time. But they're so simple that it's really hard to say no to people that want hearts, because it's so simple. Why do I find it so hard? I don't know. Anywho, so when I'm doing this negative space, I'm going in first with the detailer brush, which is a stripy brush, and painting in that line, and then going in with the color. In hindsight, I probably could have done it the other way around and gone in with the color about like 2/3 of the way up, then done the detail line where I needed it to, and kind of like use the brush to drag the color. But this way was okay too. And then the second coat, I don't really need to get all the way up to that detail line. You can kind of get away with just getting nice and close without going over it, and then you get this crisp line that's still there for us, but you also get that nice even, like super smooth crisp coverage across the entire nail of the color. But yeah, that line kind of, I think, yeah, maybe I tidy up in a few places, so you can if you need to, but in terms of opacity, it's all good just to leave it as is. For those of you that are still here listening to me ramble, please do let me know, is this a style of video you like, where your gal is just yapping away about whatever is on her mind at that given point in time? Or would you rather kind of less talking, a little bit more music? I'll interject at different points to like share some key insights, some key little tips and tricks, but other than that, like very chill. Really interested to see what you guys would prefer. I'll be honest, I do quite like this from the perspective of, because I can just talk as the edited footage is kind of rolling in front of me. It's really easy. I don't have to kind of prepare anything to say or prepare scripts or like worry that I'm going to miss something. Whereas, yeah, doing kind of a more edited mixed with music, I might miss certain things or not really get the same level of detail. But the downside for you guys is you have to listen to all of it. And I have to say, like, I'm not in my like most alert, like most onto it frame of mind right now. I thought I would leave this part in because I thought it was really funny that literally the entire time I've been doing so good at keeping my head out of the way, and then my head just completely covered all of this. But not upset, because It's me painting a flower that I hated and wiped it off. Oh, I actually forgot that I did that. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Anyway, so you can see that I struggle with this, and there my head is again. Lucky ass. I don't know what it is about flowers. I think in general I need to paint a flower from a photo of an actual flower. Like, I can't paint nails that are, the inspo is other nails that have flowers on them. The flowers look like trash. These nails, I'm pretty sure I painted the flowers like straight off the top of my head. Oh, that's such a bad move for me. I cannot paint stuff off the top of my head unless I've painted it like 50 million times. It's just not the go for me. It's not it's not the way to go. So yeah, so this entire time, like, I would show my sister, asked her if she liked them, asked her if it was okay, like literally every single flower. I was like, does that look okay? And she was like, yes, I love it. So, I mean, you know, our tastes are not always what our clients' tastes are going to be all of the time, but just keeping that kind of communication open, I think, is really super important to just making sure that they are getting the nails that they want, even if it's not quite your wheelhouse, you know, that's okay too. Like, we're not always going to be perfect all of the time, and it is okay to wipe stuff off if we need to, like I have just done here. But allow yourself the time in your services to wipe stuff off if you know it's going to be a little bit trickier for you. Hopefully you have some idea of the kind of nail that your clients want, and they're not just rocking up with some secret art for you to figure out on the spot. So this set, I think it gets cut off pretty surely from here on out. But I think the color choices were actually really fun. Like, I did really like them. Looking at it now, I wish I had done dots around the flowers. I think it would have really helped pull everything together, but you can see we finished the set with super shiny, and the colors are really, really fun, and I love that negative space design at the cuticle. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Do comment and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.